So our project is on how COVID-19 has changed our use of technology. So we conducted a survey of 102 college-age students, and the survey was comprised of questions based on COVID and its relationship to technology and how it has impacted the way that those students live. So these questions are about daily screen time before and after COVID. So before COVID, a majority of the students spent 3 to 6 hours using technology, and then after COVID, a majority spent 3 to 9 hours. But you can see that originally, like before COVID, people didn't spend more than 9 hours on technology, but after COVID, the second most popular result was 9+ hours, which shows how much COVID has increased people's overall technology use. And I think that online school could have played a big part in this because you're spending so much time on technology. But one thing that could also play a part is while you're online in school, you might be distracted during class and like being on your phone and doing something else. This is a quote that someone left on our survey. It says, "COVID enhanced the use of technology for everyday things, but I personally preferred a less technology-dependent day-to-day life. I like doing things in person." So that relates to like how much people spend time on technology each day, because he or she talks about how COVID has enhanced the technology for everyday things.
These two graphs show how COVID has affected education. Because of COVID, schools had to resort to online school. People struggled with online classes, and this led to more people wanting to have in-person classes. In the survey, the results we got were 93.5% of people wanted in-person classes. This is because when having online classes, it is easier to get distracted and do other things when class is going on.
These graphs are examples of why most students may prefer in-person classes rather than online classes. You can see that a majority of the students feel that in-person classes are overall more effective. A majority also said that they sometimes get distracted or start multitasking during online classes or online meetings. For these reasons, students see in-person classes as superior to online classes. The next two quotes are also quotes from our survey, and they pertain to finding friends and social life in the classroom. So this one says, "Finding friends as a freshman in college has been especially hard because I can't meet friends in class because there's almost no group work." And this one says, "So many people are online because of COVID, so it's really hard for them to meet new people at school."
Since COVID started, people picked up hobbies. In our survey, we found that 81.3% of people picked up a new hobby since COVID started. This is good because people are still able to be creative and learn new things during difficult times. This also means that since they were learning new hobbies, they weren't on their phone as much. However, on the other hand, 70.1% of people downloaded a new social media. This has definitely influenced their screen time and has increased it a lot.
This is a quote from the survey that pertains to social media. It says, "Social media skyrocketed once COVID happened. Bad for development of the brain." Although these results are close to being 50-50, online shopping is the majority over in-person shopping. This quote speaks on why people may prefer shopping online today. It says, "Online shopping has been a lot easier and more accessible after COVID. There are a lot of reviews and ways to try before you buy. Companies have made online shopping much more accessible, especially when it was necessary during quarantine and lockdowns. However, many people have now turned to big companies that provide an online option, which is causing small businesses to lose a lot of their customers."
This graph shows that 100% of people still want to make romantic connections in real life rather than through the internet. Although we learned in Sherry Turkle's TED Talk that we are lacking in-person communication skills, many people would still prefer to meet people in person. I think this is because a lot of the time when you meet someone online, you don't really know what you're going to get.
Okay, so this quote says, "Meeting new people is harder during COVID, and if you do, it is harder to see them a second time because they already have their circle. So this relates to connections and relationships in the last slide, because it talks about how even though you can meet people during COVID sometimes in person, it's still hard to stay connected with them because they already kind of have the people that they're friends with. And the only way to really stay connected with them seems to be through technology.